Life can be tough, and we all face challenges that test our faith and strength. This was true for a family in Florida who seemed to have bad luck. They had to overcome many obstacles, one after another. The Spencer couple had been living in Florida for more than 10 years when their life took an abrupt turn that put their entire family's survival at risk. They moved there during their first year of marriage, and while Mrs. Spencer, Olivia, was pregnant with her first child, Jack. The reason for the move was because her husband, Thomas Spence, received a juicy job offer from a new technology company that needed a highly skilled accountant to join their team. Thomas and his wife didn't hesitate and accepted the job offer with great enthusiasm, as this way they could also fulfill another of their biggest dreams, to live near the sea and raise a family in sunny Florida. And they succeeded. In fact, before they had lived there for 5 years, they had already doubled their family and welcomed their 2 beautiful sons, Jack and Thomas Jr., into the world. For many years, the Spencer family was very happy. Thomas loved his job and quickly became the boss of the finance department. Olivia was also happy because she could sell her pottery to restaurants. They were both doing well in their careers. Even though they were successful, they didn't think of themselves as rich. They lived in a small house and didn't have a lot of money. Their sons, Thomas Jr. and Jack, were also happy. They were well-behaved and loved spending time with their parents. They all liked basketball and often went to watch games together. Life was good for the Spencers. So far, the story of this adorable couple is nothing special to make them stand out from the rest. Luck was smiling on them, and they had no serious problems to keep them awake at night. However, fate did not want things to continue to be like this, and bad news began to come into their lives in the most unexpected way, bringing their whole world to a halt. We are sorry to have to give you this news, but the tests we carried out on you have detected that you have stage 3 pancreatic cancer. The good news is that you can still be operated on, although you'll have to undergo a long course of chemotherapy. That's what the hospital doctor told Thomas when he came to receive the results of the annual medical checkup that all of his company's employees undergo. Thomas went to the appointment calmly. He hadn't noticed any change in his physical condition and was feeling fine, so the news took him completely by surprise. Pancreatic cancer? How can it be, doctor? I feel fine. Can it be that I have cancer? I should have noticed it by now, don't you think? Thomas said to the doctor very nervously. He started sweating and his hands were shaking. Thomas had always been a polite and calm person, but that attitude wasn't like him, and the doctor didn't take it into account. Take it easy, Mr. Spencer. Please listen to me carefully. I know what I just told you is very hard to digest, but you must do it fast. The sooner we begin treatment, the sooner I can operate, and the better your chances of survival. I'm sorry to be so direct, but I believe that being honest with my patients is the best way to deal with the diseases they have, the doctor explained as tactfully as he could, while he approached him to try and calm him down. Thomas had stopped looking him in the eye and was about to burst into tears. I'll do whatever you say, doctor, anything. My family needs me, and I can't bear to have to say goodbye to them. It's not my time. I'll fight till the end when we start. Thomas ended up telling him with tears in his eyes as he clenched his fists and got used to the idea of everything he would have to overcome in the coming months. But the idea Thomas had in his mind about everything that would have to happen was far from what actually happened. His and his family's life changed completely after he fell ill, and their well-being and financial stability, something they'd never had to worry about before, began to teeter dangerously. Months after he started his chemotherapy sessions, Olivia tried to keep the children away from the hospital and tried not to let their routines be too affected by their father's illness. To no avail, the children asked more and more questions and realized that something was wrong. Week after week, they watched as their father struggled to survive against the cancer, languishing under the force of the treatments and leaving him with barely any strength. After 9 months of intense treatments, Thomas was finally able to undergo a dangerous operation that would ultimately save his life. However, the cost of his recovery to him and his family was much higher than they could have imagined. Thomas was unable to work for years after the operation. His recovery was very slow and painful and prevented him from doing almost any normal day-to-day activity. Olivia and the children stayed by his side all the time to help him during all the months he was bedridden and unable to move. We'll never leave you alone, Daddy, no matter what happens. We'll always take care of you and stick together, his children told him one night when their father was very weak. The children helped him take his medicine. Spending time in their company was the best therapy for him. However, although the family felt more united than ever against adversity, the entire time Thomas was unable to work, which eventually drained the family's financial capacity. All their savings had vanished during the first year of treatment, and now, a year later, they still had to pay for the cost of surgery, and recovery care expenses were mounting, and the family's money was running out by the minute. Not even Olivia's sacrifice, being forced to downsize her pottery studio and start working 2 jobs to try to fix the situation, was enough to pay the medical bills that kept mounting as the weeks went by. Even though the Spencers tried hard, they lost their home. With their father still recovering, they had to move into a friend's spare room. Rent prices were very high in Florida, so they couldn't afford to rent another apartment. They all hoped they could find a home they could call their own again. After a few months, they couldn't stay at their friend's house anymore. They moved to a cheap hotel where they stayed for a short time because they couldn't afford it for long. It was tiring, but they had no other choice if they didn't want to be homeless. Despite everything, the parents tried to show their children love and comfort. They assured them that things would get better and they would have their own home again soon. They wanted their children to feel safe and loved no matter what. Olivia told her children that their family was strong, and as long as they stayed together, everything would be okay. Weeks continued to pass, and the family still couldn't find a solution. But instead of taking it out on the kids, Olivia decided to do something different and use TikTok to release her emotions and ask for help. She posted a video that quickly went viral saying, "When you've been homeless for over half a year, your kids have been sleeping on the floor of a garage, you have 3 days left in your temporary housing, and you've been denied another place to live because the rental crisis in Florida is out of control. This is what's happening. This is our reality, and I don't know what to do anymore to get my family a home again." Olivia's video had a big impact on people online. Everyone felt sorry for the mother and her family, who just wanted a comfortable place for their children. People from all over the world sent them messages of love and prayers. Luckily, a man named Marcus Wick, who owned a big real estate company in Florida, saw the video and was touched by their story. He decided to give them one of his apartments to live in for free. Marcus Wick personally went to tell the family the good news so they wouldn't think it was a joke. The family got the keys to their new home a few days after Olivia's video became popular. After more than 9 months of not having a home, the boys finally had a place to live with their parents. When they arrived at their new home, the youngest son, Thomas Jr., was shocked. He jumped with joy and hugged his family. The Spencer's sad days were over, and they didn't have to worry anymore about where they would sleep. "Mom, we did it. This is our house," Thomas Jr. shouted. He was so happy he didn't have to sleep on a garage floor anymore. Olivia recorded this exciting moment and shared it online to thank everyone for their support. When people saw the second video, they couldn't help but share their thoughts and show their support for the family. One person praised the older brother for comforting his younger brother when he cried. They noticed how the older brother immediately went to protect and comfort his sibling, showing that kids just want to feel safe and secure. Another person expressed their happiness for the family and wished them well. Weeks later, Olivia shared more pictures of the children enjoying their new home. Everyone was thrilled for them and sent them well wishes online. Today, the family still lives in Florida in a small house they were able to buy after winning a case in court and getting compensated for being evicted. Despite Thomas' illness and the expenses they faced, he was able to return to work, and Olivia resumed her pottery business. Thomas' cancer was successfully treated, and the doctors said he was recovering well. Most importantly, Thomas Jr. and Jack no longer have to worry about not having a home or enough food. Stories like this remind us that kindness and generosity still exist, and they inspire us to believe in them again. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comment section. Thank you.